Hello everyone, Posey here. Very interesting video today, potentially at least. So, you may be wondering what exactly we've got going on here, and well, you know, some days ago, I was informed of the fact that a YouTuber had attempted to debunk my expose of David RB, of Squared Media, formerly known as Black Plasma Studios. He's no longer there, but he was their boss at one point, after he had groomed a minor and done a lot of other terrible things that are all explained in my video, which will be linked in the description. And this YouTuber here attempted to debunk me, and did a very terrible job of it, and I was shown the video, and I just want to go through and counter all of the false claims and all of the muddying of the waters. And another thing is, this whole video, like this whole debunk, was almost entirely written by AI. Almost entirely. It's super easy to tell. If you're gonna throw your hat in the ring and attempt to defend someone, like, so awful, then I expect you to at least put your work in and not have a robot do it for you and not have ChatGPT write your shit. Because that's fucking lazy as hell. And it bothers me. Like, it would be one thing if this person had just made a debunk video, but to do it so lazily. Like, part of me thinks it's not even worth responding to, but like 160 people have seen this attempted debunk video. And that is 160 people too much, and I need to set the record straight for everyone. So, fuck it. I'm gonna go through this entire thing. It's such a slog. I've already seen it, but I'm gonna go through everything, and I'm going to catalog all of the false points that were made, all of the water muddying. I'm going to, you know, shed the light on all that. And you may notice that I downloaded this video instead of playing it on YouTube, because I don't want to give it a view. Don't go and harass this guy, obviously. You will not see the light of heaven, as H-Bomber Guy said. Don't harass anyone. That does not help. And, like, I just don't support it, so please don't. And furthermore, don't even interact with the video at all. Don't even interact. Like, just don't give them a view. Don't leave a comment. Don't leave a dislike. Just literally do nothing. Okay? Ignore this guy's name. Don't look him up at all. I just want to set the record straight for the, you know, maybe one or two people who actually might have been convinced by the arguments that he had a robot make. So, let's get started. Alright, so we start off with the guy's intro. Be subscribed, like, and comment. Yeah, this is extremely weird to be putting at the start of a video like this. Extremely weird. And, like, this whole cinematic thing. Yeah, this is so weird to be putting here. Like, why? Like, you're trying to counter serious allegations.
Videos shot in a game engine to tell a story have captivated audiences for years. Through the unique blend of gaming technology and storytelling.
So here's the thing. This video is structured very weirdly. There are, like, 4 or 5 avatars that are supposedly drawn by Nader Green. And those avatars, they speak in, like, different AI voices, all with, like, an AI-generated script. It is such a weird video, just the way it's structured. Like, it's like they were trying to replicate the feeling of, like, a video essay with a bunch of cameos from other creators, but I guess they don't have friends or something, so they just have to have ChatGPT avatars show up or something. It's so weird. And again, like, the whole intro is just so inappropriate considering the context. You're trying to counter serious allegations of, like, grooming, and it just blows my mind. Like, why would you even structure a video like this?
Machinima opened up a new realm of creative expression, enabling aspiring filmmakers to showcase their talent and imagination.
Before this even goes on, I just want to say, like, the video spends 3 minutes where it's just like this AI talking about the art form of machinima as if that has anything to do at all with the subject matter. It is so tangentially related that it was a footnote in my video. Like, it's so irrelevant to the greater picture. We don't need a history lesson on what machinima is. It doesn't matter, okay? All people need to know is that David used to do machinima, which was very briefly touched upon in my video, and that he transitioned into Minecraft animations, which is how he got to a community full of children, which he then exploited. That was the point I was trying to make by bringing up all that context in my original video. I didn't need to go on a 3-minute long explanation of what Machinima is before David is even brought up. I should also add that, like, the entire video just refers to him as Arbiter617, which is his old name. Never once does he refer to him as David.
A diverse array of Machinima offered a democratized medium where creativity could flourish.
This is...
By utilizing the in-game tools and
There's
assets,
just really
players can
nothing
harness their
unique or interesting
storytelling
being
prowess,
said here.
harnessing the power
Like,
of
it's so
virtual
obvious
worlds
that an
to breathe
AI is
life
doing
into their
this.
ideas. There was one director who distinguished himself from the rest, Arbiter617. His work stood out not
Pointing
only
this
for
out
its
again,
technical prowess
this
and
was a
storytelling
footnote
finesse,
in my
but also for the
expose.
profound impact it had on the lives of countless viewers. This video spoke to the universal experiences of gamers and storytellers alike, invoking a sense of
Nothing is
nostalgia,
being said.
excitement, and joy.
This is just the whole
In this
nothing
video,
burger.
we delve into the disconcerting issue of false accusations he faced.
Oh, finally?
Critically examine the allegations levied against him, shining
3
a light
minutes
on
in.
the dangers
Yep.
of baseless accusations that can tarnish the reputation of innocent individuals and create a climate of fear and mistrust.
Oh my god.
By
Yes,
navigating-
everyone knows that baseless allegations are bad and that they can cause problems, which is why we researched that. That's why me and the people who were researching that, we did our research. That's how it works.
Through the complexities
Like,
of
obviously.
Arbiter617's journey, we aim to shed light on the importance of critical thinking and the need for
Just get to the debunking.
fairness and justice in the online realm.
Okay,
Rise of the Spartans, which was
I'm pretty sure this is the only part of the video that, like, that Nader Green actually, like, themselves recorded.
written by and directed by Arbiter 617, was
Theory on why, like, so much of this video was structured on the machinima aspect of Arbiter 617 or David's past is because I think this person was, like, an old fan of his back in those days, and that was the only possible lens that they could explore the video from. This is the only, like, creative output in this entire thing, because it's so heavily reliant on AI scripts and voices.
it is the best machinima, like, period, in
Well,
existence. The directing in that
It's interesting
is
to say.
above everything else. You watch machinima directing awards from the time, and you'll see that he'll always win first place. It's not a matter of who can be first place.
I honestly don't
'cause
know if that's true or not.
at that point, you're competing for who can be second place, because you know that Arbiter 617 is going to be at the top.
Dude literally sounds like those memes where, like, at least it wasn't Freddy Fazbear. Like that's the sort of vibes. Like I do not want to make, like, fun of the way people talk, because I do feel like that gets into some dangerous territory, because, like, some people legitimately have, like, speech impediments and stuff, and I don't want to make fun of that. I mean, like, especially if it goes into ableism, because I myself am autistic, and I stutter sometimes when recording. So, like, that's not really the point I'm trying to make. It's just, like, he's not even trying to say anything meaningful. He's just, like, kind of talking about how, yeah, he made some good machinimas. Like, it's less of the way that he speaks and more of, like, the value of, like, the words that are being said. That's what kind of makes me think of, like, the Freddy Fazbear meme.
I show this to everybody. I showed it to my school principal. I showed it to my grandparents. It's just a really amazing series.
David would be absolutely stoked to know that you took it to a school.
And he has a lot of talent in making that.
As Arbiter 617 transitioned from creating Halo machinimas to
He showed it to his
exploring
grandma.
Minecraft community,
Yeah, that's just kind of
little
funny.
did
I
he
can't even lie.
anticipate the challenges that awaited him. Unfortunately, he soon found himself embroiled in a web of false accusations and toxic behavior that
Okay.
has plagued online communities.
I love how the Minecraft community is mentioned as a footnote here, even though that's where, like, all of the harm was.
Minecraft community.
He spends like fucking 4 minutes talking about the
Vastness
machinima
and
part.
diversity was not immune to the insidious trend of baseless accusations, particularly targeting creators by labeling them as pedophiles. This toxic
Okay.
environment, fueled by misinformation and mob
This has-
mentality, cast a dark shadow over Arbiter 617's reputation and artistic endeavors.
It's not written. It's generated. Very obviously so. But like, if this was actually written, it would be so fucking weird. Like, all this purple prose nonsense does not fit in a video talking about serious allegations. And we don't need to hear 50 fucking times that baseless allegations are harmful and bad. If my accusations are baseless, like if that expose is so baseless, then you should get right to debunking it.
Such allegations can gain traction without proper scrutiny or validation. The
I
absence of
gave them
concrete
scrutiny,
evidence not only
like
undermines
me and the
credibility
people
of the
researching.
accusations, but also raises questions about the motives behind their emergence. In the absence of reliable
I explained my
proof,
motives in
it becomes
my
essential
video.
to approach such claims with skepticism and critical thinking. One of the central claims made against Arbiter 617 was that he intentionally deleted his Twitter account,
First actual point.
allegedly containing crucial evidence, before anyone could screenshot it. This aspect of the narrative
That's not actually true. The reason why I was like told he deleted his Twitter account was because someone else, like another minor, had been contacted by David and he was trying to like groom her, and she called him out. So he basically deleted his Twitter so that he could kind of escape the allegations. So like that's not really the correct way to frame that. It really isn't, because like I guess he's making it sound like, or the AI is, ChatGPT is making it sound like there were like screenshots of him saying weird pedophilic things, and that's why he deleted his Twitter, which to my knowledge, that's not the case.
presented as a damning piece of the puzzle requires careful analysis. Deleting a social media account is a personal choice that individuals exercise for various reasons.
That's true. I deleted my Twitter account back in February, and I explained why I did.
Ranging
The difference is that the context is not the same.
from privacy concerns to disengagement from online platforms. It is
Yep, that's fair.
unfair to automatically attribute guilt or nefarious intent to such actions without considering the myriad of reasons that might have influenced the decision.
Okay. The reason why I lean towards believing the deletion of his Twitter account was suspect was because I was told by his victim that it was. And also, like, in consideration with all of the other stuff he's done, it's very characteristic of him. Like, it's not that I didn't just hear that he deleted his Twitter and go like, oh, he must have had some damning pedophile evidence then. No, I came to that conclusion after I'd already seen everything else, and, like, I knew the way that he was. Okay,
It is
but
vital to recognize the
I-
potential ramifications of accusations without substantiated evidence.
you don't need to restate the main thesis of the video just while making an argument. Like, the argument should carry that.
False
Like,
claims
fuck
can
me.
inflict severe harm, not only on
Yes.
the reputation of the accused, but
No
also on
shit.
their personal and professional lives. The ripple effect of
Oh my
such
God.
allegations extend beyond the individual, affecting their relationships, opportunities, and mental well-being. The
Yes.
damage caused
Oh
by
my God.
baseless accusations is irreparable, often resulting in a loss of trust and
There's
fractured
so much fucking
communities.
fluff in this
It is
bullshit
incumbent on
video.
us,
It's
as
so bad.
responsible consumers of information, to approach such allegations with caution and demand the presentation of concrete evidence before accepting the veracity of the claims. The phenomenon of false accusations is a concerning issue that extends far beyond the case of Arbiter 617.
I genuinely don't know how to make this more clear. I wanted him to be innocent at the beginning. Like, I didn't want him to be guilty. Like, it took a lot pointing towards the fact that he was guilty for me to accept that. Like, well, at least wholeheartedly, I suppose. Like, I didn't want to believe that because I was a fan of, like, the stuff he did. Like, I'm not really anymore. Like, I've come to notice more problems with, like, Songs of War over time, but, like, like, that was, like, such a huge part of my life back in 2020 and even 2021, maybe 2022, up until I discovered the accusations. Like, dude, I don't know how to make it more clear. Like, I didn't want that to be true. Like, I feel like if I was biased in any way, it was for him and not against him, but I just saw so much that, like, pointed towards it being true that I couldn't really dismiss it. I just find it insulting that, like, Nader Green thinks that I'm biased, but he isn't. The guy who literally said that he showed David's machinima to, like, his family members and his school, and went on for 4 minutes talking about how he's the best director ever. Like, am I supposed to be the biased one here? Because I also had a similar opinion on David. I really looked up to him for a time. So, like, to accuse me of bias when I had more reason to oppose the allegations at the start, even though I did trust what was being told to me from the victims, because, you know, I'm not a shithead who dismisses victims. At least I try not to be. So, like, to imply that I'm the biased one, despite all that, like, it actually pisses me off.
Critically examining the claims made against Arbiter 617.
Guy is clearly biased. Like, even, it's not even hard to tell.
Not only shed light on his specific circumstances, but also contribute to a broader discussion about the need for evidence-based judgments and the preservation of justice in the online landscape.
Fucking hell.
Examination of the alleged evidence against Arbiter 6.
Right, there's another avatar. This, I have no idea what the fuck this is supposed to be as a character design. Like, this straight up looks like fucking Tengen's wives in Demon Slayer down here. But then you've got, well, actually, I don't think you guys can see that because my face is blocking it. Let me actually just disable that real quick. That's what the avatar looks like from the waist up. So, like, as I was saying, like, looks like Tengen's wives down here, and then it looks like it looks like some, like, fucking Doctor Who type character. Like, it's genuinely so fucking weird. I don't know why you would ever design a character like that. But, like, whatever. I'm not here to judge the person's art. At least this is not AI generated, which is a plus.
Reveals a troubling pattern of cherry picking, where specific
cherry
screenshots
picking.
were carefully selected to present a distorted and misleading narrative. These
Oh, you're just gonna assume that? You're gonna assume I was cherry picking? Isn't that not giving me a fair and unbiased judgment? Because you're not considering my motivations for picking specific images. And by the way, I have a whole recording of literally every time David and Tori, with, you know, the victim, the minor victim in question, every single time they addressed each other on the Black Plasma community Discord. Like, a whole hour-long recording of every single time. I covered all of it. So, no, I wasn't cherry-picking. I was capturing the entire context. It just would have been a lot to include in the exposé. So I put it in a separate video and told people to watch it.
images, purportedly spanning a period of 7 years, were chosen with a clear...
Wasn't the period of 7 years. That is just completely overblowing it. It was 2016 to 2018, if I remember correctly, when Tori was being groomed by David.
It is imperative
2
to
years.
approach
It's not
such evidence
7.
with the critical eye and
I don't know
question
where that
its
number even
credibility.
came from.
If the individual
No.
making the
No.
accusations was truly 13 years old in 2014, as
What the fuck? 2014. It started in 2016. I just said that. I don't know where the AI is even getting these false numbers from. I think the AI is hallucinating it. Like, I straight up think that's true. ChatGPT and other, like, AI generative text things, like, they do a very bad job of this, just outright hallucinating false information.
claimed, then the bulk of Arbiter 617's comments would have occurred when this person was 20 years old or older.
No, because it took place from 2016 to 2018, and Tori's testimony states she was 13 when this happened, and David acknowledges as much himself. Like, that was like, that wasn't, that was by no means information that was secret. So no, the interactions occurred between 2016 and 2018 when Tori was 13 to 15, and in order for her to be 20 when these interactions were taking place, Because according to this fucking AI, it started in 2014. Well, not sorry, it didn't start in 2014. She was a minor in 2014 or 13, I suppose, like specifically 13 years of age. That would mean that the bulk of the interactions would have had to take place in 2021, the year of our Lord 2021, which was a completely different point in the timeline. That was when David and Time were dating.
It's essential to consider the context in which these conversations took place and
Okay,
the individual's ages at the time.
that's been considered. You lied about that, or you got the facts wrong, because it's a generative AI. So, no.
Merely presenting isolated screenshots without the necessary contextual information can lead to a skewed interpretation of the
My fucking god. Okay, again? 1 hour long recording of every time they addressed each other on the BPC Discord. Go to my expose. Go to the description. It's linked there.
interactions. Furthermore, recurring jokes that mock 13-year-olds seeking attention adds another layer of complexity to the accusation.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck that means.
So this is certainly a recurring joke.
I
but a
have
lot
no
of
idea
his
what the fuck this is even
stuff
supposed
has
to
been
mean.
deleted, so it's hard for me to
Yes,
show more
that's true.
examples of this. But like, I have a reputation for being honest, and I'm telling you, I'm not.
You have a reputation for being honest. You generated a video 90% of the way with AI writing your script and AI voicing your fucking avatars. And you're telling me you're honest. And your AI gets the facts wrong.
Making this up. This was a recurring joke. That's why.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? He's unironically trying to argue David making jokes about characters being young in his machinimas somehow debunks the grooming. I don't even know what the point he's trying to make is.
As it raises doubts about Arbiter
Okay, back to the
617's
AI.
alleged intent to groom minors. In fact, these jokes can be interpreted as a clear indication that Arbiter 617 was not interested in engaging in relationships.
How? What fucking jokes? What? The joke of the robot saying I'm only 12 and then getting blasted? How does that prove anything one way or another?
With younger individuals. By making light of such interactions,
What?
Arbiter 617
Okay, but that's
will
not... That is not even what the... Okay, that's not even the example that was raised. That's not even what Nader Green himself was saying.
have been highlighting his disinterest in pursuing romantic or inappropriate connections with minors.
No examples provided of this. None. None. You're gonna get on my ass for cherry picking. You're not even providing examples. The one example you provided doesn't even make sense.
Further distorting the perception of Arbiter 617's actions and intentions.
Shut the fuck up. There's so much
Another
fucking
perplexing
fluff.
element
I
introduced
hate
in the
AI
video
text.
is the concept of shipping, where fans of certain content imagine and fantasize about romantic relationships.
I don't know why the
between
avatar is
fictional
doing that.
characters or real individuals. The video suggests that the act of shipping Arbiter 617 with Accuser is being used as evidence against him. However, it is essential to recognize that shipping is a phenomenon that occurs individually of an individual's control.
This could be so fewer words. Just say, he wasn't involved in that. Would still be a lie, but, it would be more concise. I'd prefer a more concise lie to debunk.
It involves fans expressing their own imaginative desires and has no direct correlation to the actual relationships or intentions of the individuals being shipped.
David repeatedly encouraged it. This is shown in the recording and in the video. End of fucking story.
Using such fan-created content as evidence against Arbiter 16 seems tenuous at best.
But that's why I also got receipts of him encouraging it.
Could be indicative of an agenda-driven attempt to manipulate public opinion. In considering the cherry-picked screenshots and the inclusion of shipping as evidence,
Still hasn't explained
it is
this.
critical to critically evaluate the motivations of those making those accusations.
Okay.
It is entirely possible that the individuals
Give me a fair and unbiased judgment when you do that.
leveling these claims are the same ones who that actively participated in the shipping.
That is just a bold-faced fucking lie.
By conveniently omitting this fact, and presenting their fantasies as evidence against Arbiter 617,
what the fuck?
they further undermine the credibility of the allegations.
Nader Green is trying to imply that, like, me and the victims and the other people who, like, helped make the video, like, we were all into the ship, and now we're projecting onto David because of that? That is such an insane fucking allegation to make. Now, I'm just gonna remind you of the entire thesis of this video. Baseless allegations can cause a lot of harm against someone's reputation and life. So maybe don't imply that shit about me, because it's just not fucking true. Wasn't even in the community at that time. I joined in 2019, and I certainly wasn't shipping David and Tori.
Of evidence not only raises
Buddy.
doubts about the veracity of the claims, but also reinforces the need for a thorough and unbiased investigation before passing judgment.
You didn't give that to me. You just implied that I was a shipper and that I was projecting my own fantasies of, like, a fucking 22-year-old grooming a 13-year-old onto him to accuse him of grooming a 13-year-old, which is an insane allegation to make against me with no backing whatsoever.
Another point of contention was the inclusion of certain pictures that were deemed gross or inappropriate. However, upon
They're talking about the one picture that has been provided in the evidence slides, which is of David, you know, in a bath towel, which was sent to Tori, which I think it's completely fucking weird and unacceptable for an adult man to be sending a picture like that to a teenager. Like, end of story. I don't know why that has to be a debate. Like, this avatar in particular spends, like, a lot of the video explaining how that's actually perfectly fine and you're taking it too seriously. But no, I don't understand why it would be in any context okay for a grown-ass man to send a picture of himself in a bath towel, like, to, you know, a 13-year-old, or maybe up to a 15-year-old at the time.
it becomes clear that these pictures were innocuous at best.
No.
Shirtless photos.
Again, he was in a bath towel, and also, I mean, sending shirtless photos to minors isn't, like, particularly innocent.
It is crucial to distinguish between harmless personal images and concrete evidence of grooming.
Well, I don't think the image that was sent was harmless at all, and that's on top of, like, everything else.
Oh no, someone's showing a little skin. The horror.
Ignoring the context of the photo entirely, getting on me for ignoring context, and then ignoring the context.
One of the most shirtless photos, as harmless as a baby kitten frolicking in
There's nothing wrong with, like, people showing a little skin in photos, that's whatever, but, like, the context is, he sent a picture of himself in a bath towel to a minor when he was a grown man. Personally, to a minor. Like, straight up. Not even that, just that he posted it on the internet. Because I did reverse image search that shit. It doesn't come up anywhere else, which also proves that, like, there is nowhere else that image could have come from. You're clearly ignoring the fact that, like, there's context behind why that image is objectionable and why it points toward grooming.
the field of daisies. It's totally logical to equate shirtlessness with being a predator.
Massive, insane fucking strawman. I've never been strawmanned more.
The video's assertion that Arbiter 617's guilt has been established beyond reasonable doubt fails to uphold the fundamental principle of innocent until proven guilty.
The video was not meant to win a court case. It was not meant to prove to a literal jury, juries who operate on the highest standard of proof imaginable, that he was guilty. Like, the audience of that video was not jurors.
Society operates on the premise that individuals are innocent unless proven otherwise through a fair and impartial investigation.
Legally speaking, I do agree that, like, it's important to, like, insist that people are innocent until proven guilty, but again, the point wasn't to get him in jail. The point wasn't to win a court case. The point was to spread awareness of his actions and get him out of the community so that people wouldn't be harmed.
Presented thus far does not meet the threshold of proof required to substantiate the accusations of grooming.
Yeah, it's super easy to claim that, like, you don't have, like, a lightning strike court case where, like, you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that he's guilty and get him locked up. Like, it's super easy to make that argument, which is why they're restating it several fucking times. But it doesn't matter because that was never the intent of the video.
It is essential to approach such serious allegations with caution and demand a thorough and unbiased investigation to establish the truth.
Okay, there's nothing more biased in my opinion than this video. Like, this is Olympic levels of bias.
Moreover, Occam's razor, a principle often employed in logical reasoning, suggests that the simplest explanation is often the most likely.
I didn't even notice this on the first time. Is this person trying to use this as an argument for Christianity as well? Like, that God created the universe, which is the most simple explanation, which therefore means that Occam's razor is most simplest explanation, and therefore it's more simple to assume that David is innocent. Okay, so first, I have so many problems with this. Okay, first of all, no, the simplest explanation is not always correct, and that isn't even what Occam's razor is about. Like, I understand why people have this misconception, but if Nader Green had bothered to watch my video and engage with its points, maybe they would have learned what Occam's razor actually is about, because I explained it in the video. In fact, this misinterpretation of Occam's razor is exactly what I said was wrong in the video. I said that many people think it's the simplest explanation. It's the explanation that requires the least, like, assumptions that aren't based on, like, concrete evidence. Like, let's look at the example that they have on screen right now. So, God did it versus the cyclic multiverse has multiple brains, each a universe that collided, causing big bangs. The universes bounce back and pass through time until they are pulled back together. This is terribly written. How did this even happen? Like, this can't be AI generated, because AI can at least spell right. So, I'm willing to believe that Nader Green actually typed this until they are pulled back together and again collide, destroying the old contents and creating them anew. This is one theory out of many that cosmologists have for the Big Bang. And you can't prove this wrong by just saying it's complicated. Like, that's not how that works. Like, and also God did it is one big assumption. Like, this is also an assumption. It has, like, a bunch of smaller assumptions, but, like, the difference is that assumptions also need to have, like, they need to have, like, a standard of, like, kind of evidence behind them in, like, circumstantial or otherwise, which is, like, that's what we had for, like, the David thing. We had a lot of circumstantial evidence. Like, a lot of circumstantial evidence that built up to the conclusion. It would have taken a lot of assumptions, a lot of hoops to dive through to even suggest that David was, at the very least, not irresponsible. Like, well, I think even with, like, all of the assumptions that I laid out in the video, he would have still been irresponsible. Just not a groomer, but that requires so many assumptions that don't make any sense. So, like, I don't know if I'm sufficiently explaining this, but this is a bad application of Occam's razor. Extremely bad. I assume Nader Green is Christian. There's nothing wrong with being Christian, but clearly he's letting this bias him.
Applying Occam's razor to the situation at hand, it becomes evident that the possibility of slander within the Minecraft commentary community is far more probable than the alleged grooming accusations against Arbiter 617.
Why? Why is the possibility of the allegations being wrong more probable than the allegations being true? Explain that. Doesn't explain why that's more probable, why that's more of a sensible assumption. You can't just throw in Occam's razor and then just not explain how it applies to what you're talking about.
Particularly within communities centered around content creation, is no stranger to false allegations, personal vendettas, and attempts to tarnish reputations. It is essential to demand a thorough examination of the facts, including objective evidence, corroborating testimonies, and a fair investigation.
And Nader Green, I would have respected you a lot more if you did that yourself, instead of having a robot do it badly for you.
Before making any determinations about the guilt or innocence of an individual. Furthermore, it is important to acknowledge the potential consequences of rushing to judgment without sufficient evidence.
I want to remind you that they accused me and everyone else involved in the expose of being shippers between David and his victim. And never backed that up, just completely threw it out there. And they still say, oh, but be careful about baseless accusations.
By upholding the principles of due process and requiring substantial evidence, we can ensure a fair and just system, and protects
This
the
isn't
rights
a
of all
fucking
individuals
courtroom,
involved.
dude. I can't. I'm so.
In conclusion, it is essential to recognize the impact that Arbiter 617 had on the machinima community and the broad.
I don't care how impactful he was in the machinima community, or how impactful he was in the Minecraft animation community. It is irrelevant. I don't care how impactful he was in the game design community, because, you know, he was dipping his toes into that until he was exposed. Don't give a shit about any of that, because it's not important. What's important is what he did with that influence, which was massively bad, categorically awful.
Teen's case reminds us of the dangers of accepting accusations without solid evidence, as they can have far-reaching consequences.
Yes, I agree.
Let us approach such situations with
So why did you
critical thinking,
accuse me of
ensuring
shit?
that the accused are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Only then can we safeguard the integrity of online communities and foster an environment of fairness and justice.
If you liked the video, I
Yep, and
challenge you
then
to indicate as
this
much by pressing the like
fucking
button under the
outro
video
happens.
and be sure you're subscribed.
You can't make this up. It actually just feels like a shitpost. Like, it straight up feels like a shitpost. It's hard to believe this is real. Yep, that's actually how it fucking ends. So, almost nothing was said. That whole thing could have been like 5 minutes long, probably less. Like, cut out all the machinima fluff. Cut out all of the points that don't make sense. All you have to do is say, oh, I think he cherry picked. I think I have some disputes about like what certain circumstantial evidence means. Which I should reiterate this to be clear, that concrete evidence is not the only type of evidence there is, or like, you know, evidence that would hold up in a courtroom exactly is what I mean by that. There is tons of value in circumstantial evidence. Like, that's very valuable, and it isn't wrong to like build a conclusion based on circumstantial evidence, like especially when it's so overwhelming. It would be in a courtroom, but there's a difference between a courtroom and an online community where like it's important to remove harmful people and like make sure that like people aren't being hurt by them, because David was actively harmful to everyone in his community by like being a groomer, because his community was full of children, and that had to stop. So, you know, that's just how it is. So like, no points made really, just they said I was cherry picking. I wasn't. I explained why. Misapplication of Occam's razor. Straw manning a lot of things that I said or that other people said in my video, or that like other people contributed to my video. Complete straw man. Just complete ignorance of context, factually wrong information, and they accuse me of, you know, being like, I guess, a creepy weirdo as well by being into the ship, and I wasn't into the ship, and that's completely baseless. So, altogether, terrible fucking video. It would suck even if it was completely recorded and written by Nader Green themselves. But guess what? They decided to offload 90% of the video to an AI, and that makes it even worse, because I don't respect the fact that you thought it was so unserious, that this is such a joke, that you could just offload it to an AI, and people could actually just straight up watch this video and believe that you were being serious and respectful. It's so disrespectful to victims, so disrespectful to even falsely accused people, to put together this fucking slop fest of a video and attempt to call it investigative journalism in any shape or form. To attempt to say that this is shedding light on the truth behind a matter is so insulting when this is what the video actually entails. Like, I'm actually genuinely angry that someone put this out into the world. Like, I hope that Nader Green just reflects on himself after this. Like, sorts out the cognitive dissonance of, like, realizing David is a terrible person despite the fact that he made some stuff that Nader Green liked in the past, which, you know, I've had to do that. I've had to do that before. You know, it sucks sometimes, but that is life. Sometimes terrible people can create cool shit. So, you just have to deal with that. Like, the solution to your cognitive dissonance is, well, as this video says, critical thinking. and understanding that sometimes shitty people can have a profound positive impact on your life when you're not aware of how shitty they are. And the acceptance is the solution. Not to go deeper into your cognitive dissonance, block out reality, and put together this lazy fucking piece of slop. That is not the solution ever. So yeah, that's about it. I'm actually very mad after responding to this. Like, the idea that someone thought this was acceptable in any way just really pisses me off. Now, I will hold true that I still don't think that this person deserves harassment, and even if I thought that they did deserve harassment, that wouldn't make it a good idea, because it's just fundamentally just bad to harass people. It makes the situation more chaotic, and it offers basically nothing good. It also boosts the video in the algorithm, and I don't want any more people to be watching it. So, there you go. Thank you for watching, everyone, and, goodbye.